welcome to Podcast Host Play, episode 270. I am one of your hosts, Cal, and as always, I'm joined by a man who thinks they should rename X Factor to Hunt for a Cunt. Daddy Bloody Dan.
Hello.
Hello. It's Wednesday. We're back on normal day.
Hump day, as they would say.
They do.
10 years ago.
Why would they say hump day?
Because.
But that sounds like it's that's like sex day for humping.
No, it's like the middle of the week. It's like, whoop, there's your hump.
Oh, that makes more sense.
Of the working week.
Yeah. I still think it's a silly phrase, Dan. But
well, what do you want instead? Shag-a-day?
No,
Actually, that's wonderful.
Can't believe it's Wednesday already. I know. Who'd have thought it's Shag Day already?
Yeah. What are you doing on Shag-a-day?
I can't get Tesco.
Whack off at the Crown Bowls Club.
The Crown Bowls? Where the hell's that?
I don't know.
Speaking of silly things, though, Dan, I got some news for you.
Oh, okay.
Venom 3 release date moved up.
Can we move on, please? It's
got a new title as well, Dan.
Is it Sorry Everyone, Here's Another Venom Film?
No, it's Venom 3 is coming sooner than anticipated, and it has a new title. Sony Pictures announced the third Venom movie is moved up from November 8th to October 25th, and is going to release in theaters around all over the world under the title Venom: The Last Dance.
Last Dance.
Which makes me think it might be the last one.
Yeah, they've just sort of gone, we'll just knock this on the head. So we need one last one. We'll do all the spider stuff. We'll do all of that. Because Madame Web was such a roaring success. Clearly we need to just, try and desperately hold on to this cinematic universe that we're making because it's all going so well.
Well, I heard a rumour that Sony was looking at doing a similar thing to Morbius where they re-release Madame Web again. So Morbius had 2 theatrical runs.
Did it?
Yeah. And
I didn't attend either.
Apparently it worked out well money-wise, but I can't see this having the same effect.
No, unless they intend to make another film.
Just a completely different film.
Or if they go, well, there's actually like 30 minutes of like extra shit that we cut out, but we'll put it in so we can justify a re-release so people can go back and see if it's worth, or if it was, this is now the Snyder cut version of, okay, well this is the better version. It won't be fixed. It won't be good. It'll just be better than it was. Like
Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
The film itself is generally still not great, but the director's cut of it, what's it called, the director? I'm sure it had a different name.
No, it's the extended cut.
Yeah.
The ultimate cut.
Ultimate, yeah.
Yeah.
That's arguably the best version to watch.
It is, because all of the nonsense that happens in the theatrical Batman vs Superman, you're like, oh, okay, that's why people think this, or oh, okay, well, that's why that happened then.
Yeah.
It's still not particularly satisfying, but it closes a lot of those loopholes.
It doesn't take it from like a 5 to a 9. It takes it from a 6 to a 7, maybe.
Yeah.
At the most. But yeah, apparently that's going to be happening. But did you know, Dan, 2018's Venom made more than 850 million worldwide?
Yeah. And is that because of the ongoing love for Venom? Or is that purely because they made the incredibly smart decision of getting Tom Hardy?
Probably the latter.
Yeah.
Because the sequel made 500 million worldwide, making the franchise so far at more than 1.3 billion at the box office. Which is quite a lot for 2 fucking generally shockingly shit films.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really much salvageable in there.
I think the first one's better than the second one.
By a
fucking
stretch.
long fucking margin. And I still think the Venom design they use for the movie is generally pretty good. It's just the film itself I fucking despise. I don't know why it's so popular, other than Tom Hardy.
I'm assuming that what they'll do is they'll do a Morbius, Spider-Man, Venom, smash them all together, see if we can salvage something out of this kind of attempt to trying to salvage it.
What Spider-Man though?
Any of them. Like any of them, if they can get 50 of them in there.
I mean,
it would have to be like, or maybe they just go, we'll do a multiverse thing, but we'll do a Venom multiverse. So it's
different
instead
Venoms.
of it being 500 Spider-Mans, it's 500 different
It's
Venoms.
Tom Hardy, Topher Grace.
Topher.
Is that who it is? Topher.
Yeah.
All these years, I honestly thought it was Topher. Anyway, him, the voice from the animated series,
Yeah.
the video game. That's probably about all you could get, really.
Yeah. I just think it's just going to be one last ditch effort to see if they could salvage a franchise. But I think the diminishing returns have already hit.
I don't know. I mean, how much money do you reckon they've lost with like Morbius and Madam Web? Obviously, we've got Craven coming up as well to lose more money. Do you think Venom will make enough to make up for the shortfalls of the other ones?
It depends on the budgets that went into all of them, I guess. Like if there was cuts in budget to salvage the sinking ship, so to speak. So if they went, right, initially we'd earmarked like 150 million for Madam Web. You know, it's a new property. Well, you know, maybe we can build something out of it. Maybe it'll be this will be our connecting, like she'll connect all of the other films together, sort of thing. But then if they went, actually, this is a terrible idea. We don't think we can pull this off. Just knock it down to 60 million. And that's all you get. So we'll pump it out, and then we'll just, as long as we get that back, we're okay. But with Venom, that's where they seem to be making their money. But I think even with the Tom Hardy factor, there's still, I think there's a lot of people put a lot of faith into like YouTube commentators and reviewers and that sort of stuff who are just going, don't give them your money. Don't go and see it. It's not worth it. It's not like a bad, good movie. Oh, you know, like a good, bad movie, should I say.
Yeah.
It's just a bad movie. It's not worth your time. Don't bother. And people will go, sure. Like, if it comes out on streaming, sure, I'll watch it, but I'm not paying them to keep perpetuating this nonsense.
There is a surprisingly high amount of YouTubers and like even places like IGN where, depending on who's reviewing it, they do actually like the Venom films. For some reason, I don't know why. And I know everyone's entitled to an opinion, but a shit film's a shit film.
Yep.
Like it's not well made. The acting's not great. Stories are real fucking non-existent. So even as someone that likes comic books and likes Venom as a character, that doesn't tie into it because it's just a bad fucking film. Like, even if if Madam Web's your favourite comic book character, and you will have people that defend bad things just because they like that property or whatever.
I think it's more than that, though. I think people will stand up for it because they want to be against the grain.
Yeah, there's too many people.
Everyone hates it, but I don't hate it. I hate
Yeah.
the Titanic, though. Hate Shawshank. What a terrible film. Forrest Gump. Gross. Madam Web, though, absolute cinematic gold.
I'm just going to clip that one bit and just put that out. Dan loves it, everyone. And he hates
Like,
Shawshank.
doing it on the internet, obviously you do that because people go, oh, what? How dare you? And they engage. You get what you wanted, which is, people coming in directing traffic at you.
Yeah.
Whereas people would rather direct actual traffic at you and get you smushed by a million trucks. I just don't think that like people wouldn't put like a professional, like if they're a professional movie critic or whatever for The Guardian, you're not going to go, there's actually a lot of subtlety and a lot of nuance to this. They'll go, it's actually terrible.
Yeah.
Like it's just, I'll tell you what, I'm going to say that and I might live to regret that decision. But
So there's a good number of critics that was on board with the first one more than the second one. And out of all of the Sony verse movies, Venom 1 is the best one. But like I said, for a lot of other things, dry dog poo is still dry dog poo if you stand in it. Like it's still dog shit at the end of the fucking day. But I think in order to make the big money, Venom 3, what did we say it's called? Last Dance, that needs to have
turds in the wind.
And Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire or Tom Holland, they need to make an appearance to get that crowd to just watch it.
I don't know, because like you'd have thought that whenever they're doing like a spider thing or a Venomy thing, whatever, they would have approached Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire and just like, hey, do you want to come in and do a cameo? We'll give you 50 grand or whatever.
More than that.
And they've just gone, nah, forget it. You know, I'm not even just going to come in the suit. But then they go, well, or their agents are like, hey, do you want to come in and do like a Marvel, like a big Marvel project? Yeah. You know, it's all three of you. You make $1 billion, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, yeah, cool. Okay, well, we all get equal parts. They're like, you know, we get a saving grace on a franchise that we were a part of that kind of fell apart at the end. All of that kind of works out quite well. Whereas if they got one of them to come in and just do Venom, it'd be like, please, can you save this franchise? Like, can you just being here? Will that be enough to sort of like people go, well, apparently Maguire's in this one as well, so sure, I'll go and see it to see how are they going to make all that work?
But it kind of undoes everything that they've done for the. They all get their their special moments in. What was it? No Way Home. Like each of the Spider-Men get a chance to shine, and especially Andrew Garfield obviously gets to save the MJ of this universe when he lost the Gwen of his universe, and I don't know, doing it again, it kind of just nullifies everything that they did in that last film. I think, at least, anyway.
Yeah, the Guardian, as I thought, did not hold back. Dakota Johnson lazily leads an incompetent attempt to set up a new character made almost incoherent by last-minute changes. And then it just goes on to say, absolute poo.
What did they say about Venom? Because it's easy to jump on the Madam Web hate train. Because it's shit. But...
So, first one... Venom review. Tom Hardy flames out in poisonously dull Spider-Man spin-off.
Very good.
Another 1-star. There could be, to be fair though, there could be several reviewers that have got their own particular takes on, so they go, well, there's a big blockbuster coming out, we'll get someone who likes it and someone who hates it, and we'll put conflicting reviews up so people can either get confirmation bias or they can just all pick on the person that they disagree with the most.
That's what happens with a lot of, especially newspaper-based like media companies. They will have multiple people doing it just to appease the different groups.
Yep.
Plus, it gives you that opportunity to go, Dan fucking hated this movie, and you go, well, if you didn't like my review, why don't you go and look at Callum's review where it's a bit more positive? Yep. But then, I think that's pointless personally, because if you get someone that goes, right, you four go and watch this film or play this game or whatever, who liked it? And then somebody puts their hand up and they go, cool. Who didn't like it? And they put their hand up and go, cool. You two do a review. What's the point? You're just getting a good review and a bad review.
But ultimately, a review shouldn't matter. If the Guardian had their film critic, and that is like a definitive, as far as we're concerned, they tick enough boxes, or their judgment is based on enough experience and background in films and productions or whatever. Like when they get like football pundits or whatever, and it's like these people like ex-footballers, like they don't really talk. They all talk bullshit anyway, but they at least they know what they're talking about.
They know the game.
If you got like Martin Scorsese or someone, and you said, right, Scorsese, you're going to be the Guardian film critic, and you go, well, do you know what? He's kind of killed it in the film industry. Like, he knows what he's doing. I trust his opinion. And then if he says, watch this Iron Man film, terrible, boo, awful, I could still watch that and go, well, I disagree. I think it was great, actually. That a review is, at best,
it's just an opinion.
It is just that person's opinion. And at worst, people use it as an absolute guide for what they should and shouldn't watch and what they should and shouldn't like, and it helps form their views. Like, no one should be deviated away from watching a thing or enjoying a thing just because someone that you know or someone that you've seen in the public space says this is shit, and you go, I hate it as well.
Definitely shit.
No, it's me. I agree.
That's what they do, though, isn't it?
It is, but then it's because of so many people doing that. Then you get the other people go, well, maybe I don't actually enjoy it that much, but do you know what? It's not worth this level of hate. So I'll stand on the other side and I'll go, well, actually, there's a lot of things in this that I don't think you thought about because you're stupid and I'm not, and I'm, and it's this endless fucking milieu of people just tripping over each other to say that their opinion is fact or whatever.
Yeah.
That being said, Callum, it's a shit film and no one should ever watch it. There's absolutely no point to it.
The problem with films is, and I know it's a bit, not pot kettle, that's definitely the wrong phrase, but obviously we do reviews, but I think it's harder to review with something like a movie because everyone's movie taste is different. Now, I can watch a film and then text you and go, I think you'll really like this, Dan, because I know, like, in a nutshell, the kind of films that you do like. But that's not based on like my formulation of a review. That's just based on us knowing each other for so long.
Yeah.
But I think it's easier to go something like the new Nixie Hyper on Joy-Cons for the Nintendo Switch with a review coming up soon. It's easier to review something like this because it is more of a, again, you can go as a vague idea. I know the kind of people that are going to want this review.
Yeah.
But with, like I say, with movies, it's so different because people will watch a film just because an actor is in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they
nothing infuriates me more, quite frankly, because it's just like you must know what you're getting into. It's purely based. To go, oh my god, this guy's in it. Well, I'm definitely going to go watch him.
Yeah.
Why? Like, there's plenty of actors that I like and that really enjoy their work in films that I'd be like, what were you thinking?
Yeah.
Was this just a paycheck? And if that's the case, that's totally cool, and I totally get that. If they're willing to bankrupt themselves to fund you to come in this terrible film and try and salvage it, and then you don't because you give it 30% because you know it's not going to be worth your time, then I get that. Why wouldn't you? But yeah, just the sort of like the, he's always great in everything. Therefore, everything that he's in is great and it's just okay. That's. Like, whilst these things are subjective, that can't be true. Or are you that sort of fucking stupid?
there's a lot of people who I wouldn't say admire, because I don't really admire any celebrities, but you
admire their wealth.
Yeah.
You've done really well for yourself. Well done.
But in agreement, there's actors and actresses that I really like in certain films, but I'm not going to go, like... I really like Alan Richardson from Reacher and Titans and Twin Mountain State. I forgot what it's called. But yeah, he's also in Fast and the Furious. I ain't going to go fucking watch that.
Yeah. But you're not going to watch it and go, well, I enjoyed that Fast and Furious because this one guy is in it.
Yeah. If you cut out all the scenes when it's just him, I'll probably give that compilation a go. But
I bet it'd be about 6 minutes long as well.
If that. Yeah. But it's just pointless. And fair enough if it comes onto Netflix or something else and you go, I really like that guy, I'll give that a watch. Because you're not actively funding the movie just because somebody's in it. It's just a really stupid practice, and I don't know why people do it.
I think it's just because they've got nothing better to do, maybe.
Unless it's Emma Stone, I'll watch anything with Emma Stone.
Well, that Poor Things has just popped up on Disney Plus. I've been meaning to watch that, actually.
And that's got really good reviews.
Yeah. And
just speaking of all the negatives that we did say just...
Yeah. But it's like... I don't really want to talk about like fucking Oscars and stuff like that, but like, I don't watch it. I don't care about it because, again, it's one of those things that's subjective and it's the rich people patting each other on the back and saying how great they are. But I'm pretty sure that, like, Oppenheimer cleaned up.
Yeah, so did Barbie, though.
But again, is that only because they were both out on the same day and it was popular. That whole Barbenheimer thing, and it was just a viral thing for 35 minutes?
And it's still a viral thing now.
I know, but give it a year or two, and everyone go, fucking hell, why did everyone go bananas for that? Like, why did everyone dress up in suits and go and see the Minions? Because the internet told you to.
That's the worst thing about the current landscape of media is people are very easily influenced.
Yeah.
It's
this
not...
podcast sponsored by Pepsi.
No. We do have a sponsor for this.
Delicious.
It's not Pepsi. But with the rise of the internet and the influencers and everything else, it goes to show just how like sheep's it's the right term, but I don't like to use it because it sounds silly. But
it's because it's what the alt-right and the alt-left use to be like, oh my god, you just all brainwashed. It's like, well, are you sure you're not?
Yeah. Anybody,
because you're using the same terminology as all the other people in your camp, whichever side of the fence that might be.
Yeah, and it applies to both, but it applies horrendously with the likes of, well, this YouTuber said to do this, or following a TikTok trend. Hey, speaking of TikTok, there's a bill going around to ban it in the US.
Why?
It's not to do with China. Like the company that owns the thingy, spying on people or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Even though they did release all of the stuff to go, we'll have a look, we're not.
Yeah.
But much like they did with Huawei, the likes of Trump, they're like, nah, they're definitely spying on us. And they go, we're not, like, we're using your technology for a lot of the stuff. And they go, no, ban it. It's Chinese. But yeah, I didn't look too much into it. I don't really give a shit about TikTok that much. But yeah, it's just silly things where, again, back to one of my biggest pet peeves, but this ties into it. You know, when we were talking a few weeks ago, it was off air, but we're talking about all these TikTokers and stuff where they'll take an already made video that someone else has made, and then all they'll add is just like pointing to something or just nodding their head and clapping or whatever. They don't attribute anything to the video except stealing likes or views away from the original creator. That's all the internet is at the moment. It's just people seeing something and going, I can do that, and then just taking it and not even doing anything. There's no talent involved. There was a video I saw, I think it was actually on Instagram, but it was just like, this is how you can get like 100,000 likes on your TikTok video in 4 hours. And he's got like an office and everything that he goes to, and there's like a pool table set up and like a foosball and everything else, like proper like gamer's pad thing. But he rolls up, gets in, and he sits down, and then it's filming him going onto YouTube. He goes to a website. Sorry, looks at the trending hashtags for YouTube, then puts that into YouTube, gets the top viewed video, downloads it, and then crops it, goes on it and gets a video of GTA online, someone else played, not him, and puts that in, and then he uploads it. Like, so you just stole two people's work, two separate people, for two very different fuckers. Like, the top one will be about, like, I don't fucking know, a goose learning to fucking fly, and then the bottom bit is GTA Online.
Yeah.
And it's like, how are you? Why are people giving you so many like likes and comments and everything else when you're a thief? It's just mind blowing. But that's what the internet is these days.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe, by the way.
The death of creativity is here.
That's the biggest problem. And again, AI is not going to fucking help, because we're going to be at a stage where instead of that chap going in and going, what's the highest rated video? What's the best GTA video? And then stealing that, he'll just go into his AI thing and go, make me a viral video, and he'll get one.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It's not great. Anyway, Venom's not that exciting, is it?
No.
What you have been doing though, Dan, is you took one for the team, and you've watched all of Halo Season 1
and
some of Season 2.
No, I've watched all of Season 2.
Is it all out now?
No, I mean, as in everything that is currently
up
out
to date. Yeah,
for Season 2. I've watched all of that as well. Yes, that's correct.
Now, I do intend to join you on this crusade, Dan. I'm going to have to start from the beginning, because I've only watched like 3, maybe 4 episodes. Gave up, and I don't remember a great deal. So I'll watch it, but I'll skim through, catch up. But I don't care about spoilers. Season 1's been out for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I want your thoughts on Season 1. As someone that's played Halo throughout the course of its lifespan.
And mine, quite frankly.
No, its lifespan.
No, but which directly ties into, like, I don't mean like I've rinsed all, like, because, like, you know, I played Resident Evil 2 and 3 now, but I never did back in the day. I've just done,
sorry.
like, the course of a weekend. So, like, I've been playing Halo since Combat Evolved came out. Like, I bought that from Mr. Chips. Remember Mr. Chips in Stafford? I bought Halo from there for the Xbox.
Original flavour.
Yeah, like original box, the whole shebang. Then 2, 3, 4. I think ODST was the only one I didn't play because that's the one as part of like the Master Chief collection. I was just like, oh, I never played this one. I'll play this. Oh my god, it looks like absolute dog shit because they hadn't remastered it like to any reasonable degree. But I've got Infinite. Was it 5? I think that's the only one I've actually ever played.
But Master Chief's not in it.
Yeah, exactly. But like Halo Wars 2, Spartan Assault, or Spartan Attack, whatever it is. Like I've got a lot of time and years over the years in Halo. If you took Master Chief and the kind of there's the UNSC, there's the Covenant, there's Halo, which is a weapon, here's Master Chief, and then you kind of just sort of made a story around purely those elements, you kind of get the Halo TV show.
Yeah.
There's a huge amount of time that's put into exploring the backstory of Master Chief and the relationship that he has with Dr. Halsey, who ran the Spartan program. It's not... There's maybe like 2 or 3 in the whole season, the first season. There's maybe like 2 or 3 like Halo-esque battle scenes, like where there's like big things and it's just explosions and lasers and it's like Spartans doing flips and stuff like that. Which I think for the show and probably for the budget that they had, they did really fucking well with what they had. Like it looks great, all the sets are great. The story beats, it focuses on Chief kind of like moving away from like the sort of Spartan brainwashing and sort of like you are a weapon and that's it, like a hitman, like Hitman 47 basically, like Agent 47. Just he's a programmed assassin who kind of breaks away from his programming, and then that's when you kind of be part of that story. Yeah. So there's a lot kind of like going through his story, but then there's also a sort of 40% amount of the time that's allocated to some girl that he rescues from like an outpost after there's a massive Covenant attack.
Yeah, from the first episode.
Yes, yeah, that's right. And that's the part of it where I'm just like, you could strip all of this out, and I don't think you this wouldn't. It doesn't take anything away necessarily. It's not as if it's like, oh my god, not this again. Yeah. But it's just sort of like, well, I kind of like, if you're doing a full character exploration of this guy who is basically, it would be the same thing as like if you had a Doom TV show and the whole show was about Doom Guy and how he became Doom Guy and like the psyche and like the mental strains of being Doom Guy. You'd be like, I don't really give a shit. Like I want to see. I want to see him like, I want it like a Mortal Kombat game. Like when they sort of sit down when they're making a new MK and they're just sort of like, what can we do this time? Like what insane, crazy, awful, gory, horrible shit can we do to people in this game? What do we have to do this time? Yeah. That's the sort of thing you'd expect. It'd just be like, it would just be him just being unleashed like a fucking unholy terror amongst demons and just obliterating them for half an hour straight, and then you can have someone just comment, just go, bloody hell, what the fuck happened? Whereas with this one, like I kind of get that they, if you're going to explore who this person is and the kind of the trauma that he's faced and who he is now starting to become as a result of him kind of being exposed to these alien artifacts and whatever, then you can't really have all the cool battle stuff as well, because you can't focus on and like learn about a character and have them in the middle of a war every 35 seconds. Yeah, because you don't have the time for each. But casting, I think, is great. There's a lot more kind of stuff that's done with the squad, like so Silver Team, who he's in charge of. The Spartan team, there's a lot of like kind of like interplay that goes on with that team. Yeah, all of that stuff is great. I love all of the other Spartan people that kind of keep on popping up. like I say, the sets are great. The CG for pretty much most of it is kind of great as well. Like everything seems to do damage. Like it's quite visceral. Like a lot of the time when there's like fighting and stuff like that. Like the Spartans like fighting as like superhumans, like just doing unbelievable cool shit. It's like a superhero movie in some senses, like because they're just these unreal, unstoppable machines. And then they put the armor on, and then it's even harder to take them out or whatever. So like the Covenant stuff, there's also kind of like another subplot with like a woman who's sent in as a spy. But because they're quite open with like who she is and what her intentions are from the outset, it doesn't get a huge amount of play. And I feel that if they just dropped off the kid's story, kind of like trying to retake her own planet or whatever, and they focus more on this sort of like this woman and Master Chief and how they kind of interact together, and that story as that develops with like being like from enemies, their enemies or whatever.
Yeah,
that would be a bit more interesting maybe. But like the props are great, like all the vehicles and stuff, like the warthogs and all the guns that they have and the suits look great. Like it doesn't feel like they've got a huge budget, but it feels like they've spent it really, really well.
Yeah.
Like I genuinely do think that they've done a good job with what they've got. And it ended quite well in the sense of like this doesn't feel like a self-contained story. This is part of an arc that you're going to have to continue in the second season, which is again where I've pretty much got up to. I think there's only maybe one, maybe two more, maybe from this season before it's done. There's a huge. It depends. It depends on how this one ends. If they all get exploded at the end, then probably not.
Yeah.
But there doesn't seem to. So in the second season, like there seems to be like a tone shift in it to some degree. Like it doesn't feel like it's like a machinima kind of like thing. It feels like they got a budget now.
Yeah.
Like people like this first one enough to go, sure, we'll give you some money and you can do a proper job of it. So they moved away from the whole kind of like kid finding a thing. She's in it, but it's about 5% of it is given to her. But it is far more Master Chief kind of doing Master Chief stuff. But almost immediately after the first episode, like the Spartans like left on a planet, and the military pulls out and take their armor. Because they're like, we're pulling out all of our resources and all of our assets, so armor is definitely like the Spartan armor is like a incredibly valuable, cool, incredibly powerful piece of kit that's coming with us, and everything else could just get fucked basically.
What, even Master Chief?
So all of them, yeah. So there's a lot of the well, if it's I think other than like maybe at the opening, like in the first episode or two, he isn't in the armor anymore.
I don't
like
get it.
He's just a dude. But again, there's a lot more focus on in that sort of like Iron Man kind of sense of just sort of like he doesn't need the suit to be Master Chief. He's Master Chief because he's Master Chief, and like he's still like punching people like through fucking walls and stuff. Like they are so unbelievably strong in this. But there's definitely more kind of like the team that get play, and like you're kind of looking at the chemistry and the relationship between him. And like the thing is like the big thing for the game was always the relationship between Chief and Cortana, and I feel that is kind of where it's fallen down the most. Yeah, because he hates her. Like she's just been sort of like put in his head almost begrudgingly. Like he's sort of like, yeah, all right, I'll do this thing, and it was all a fucking ploy anyway. And then she gets taken out at the end of the first season, and then they kind of get reasonably kind of reunited in the second season. But he's talking about it, so it's like, I've got this huge hole in my heart from where Cortana was. So I was like, get off! You were constantly telling her to shut up and leave you alone in the first season. What are you on about? They haven't built this like incredible relationship over the course of like a season or whatever, you know, where if you took one out, it would just be like losing a part of your soul, like you were that close. That part of it, I was like, okay, I'd even lose like all the team stuff and the kid stuff if you just have him like building this relationship with Cortana, and then he's got this other relationship with this real woman, and he's sort of like, what do I do? And human emotions, and how do I deal with this? That would have been a great thing to focus on. But yeah, honestly, for the most part, like everything feels like it's in universe. But if you could watch both of those seasons, and then you watch the trailer for Fallout, and you go, oh, these guys really cared about the source material. Like, they are trying everything within their power to make you feel this is Fallout. This is exactly that universe. Everything is recognizable. Like, other than people who are mostly sort of like interchangeable anyway.
Yeah.
Like, everything looks like Fallout. Like, you could just take a snap of that and go, what's this from? Or what does this remind you of? You'd be like, oh, it looks like Fallout with the 50s, or, you know, or a big crazy demon radiation monster or whatever. Whereas there's so much of this second season, which is just sort of like, oh, it's a bunch of people having dinner on a rooftop on Reach. And you'd be like, what's this from? And you go, I don't know, it's like The Notebook or something like that. It's just like a family just sat around a table. Like, you'd be hard pressed to kind of look at it at a glance and just know what this is from.
What it is, yeah.
Yeah. But again, it just doesn't feel like it's like, you know, like if you watch The Witcher, like it's not the game version of The Witcher. But it still seems recognizable. And like Geralt is still Geralt as you know him, because again they've adapted the game so well from the books. It's still recognizable, and you feel that universe, and it feels fantastical, and it feels like it is full of monsters, and everyone's, you know, on edge constantly, and everyone's covered in filth, and there's a witch in every well, whatever. Like, everything's dangerous.
I think the difference there, though, is like, again, I've only watched a handful of episodes of Halo, but I think the difference with Fallout, again, we haven't seen it. We've only seen the tease trailer and then last week's full trailer.
Proper trailer, yeah.
But I think the difference between Fallout, Halo, and The Witcher is Halo and Witcher. If you take Master Chief's suit out and then Geralt's not on screen, I don't think you would go, yeah, that's Halo and that's The Witcher. Like, it's Cavill's Geralt that makes you go, this is The Witcher. But if he's not on there and you just walk past and you saw it, it could be Game of Thrones, could be something else. Whereas Fallout, at least from what we've seen, doesn't matter who's on screen or what's on screen.
Looks right.
It like, looks perfect.
Yeah, it feels exactly like again, this just could be incredible trailer work.
Never know.
It could be, and I could be severely disappointed by this, because like, I think even if the story isn't particularly great, the effort that they've already gone to show how much detail they've put into it is kind of crazy in itself. But I honestly think that The Last of Us is kind of a key component for this sort of stuff, where they've gone, we want to make this show, it's based on a game that's basically a movie, and we just want to extract various different parts from that, and the only things that are really missing are the gameplay elements, which, you know, you don't necessarily need in order to make it compelling.
Yeah.
So because of how much of that felt like The Last of Us, like there was an aura around it almost that kind of, it was just sort of like, oh my god, I feel like this is The Last of Us. Like, this
smells bad.
Yeah, you've captured the right thing. You know, you've captured the right essence, and I think that's what they didn't do with Halo. I think they went in another direction. They just went, oh, he's an interesting character, but he's kind of like a nameless, faceless, you know, avatar for someone to go in and shoot aliens. So we'll flesh him out a bit more, and we'll give him, you know, some more to do. And the thing is, though, is if it didn't, with what they've done so far, again, and it's interesting, you know, I binged the whole thing in like one fucking weekend. Like, I don't do that if I'm not enjoying something.
Yeah.
But if you
you
switched out Master Chief for a Spartan, it would still work.
Yeah.
It would still work exactly the same way.
This is what I said from the get-go with it, is that I think I would have held on more to it and saw it through if I wasn't so annoyed with it. And I think the easiest way to do that is to just have a Spartan that's not Master Chief, and just have Master Chief swoop in now and again. But, and I didn't know this, like, one of the things I was annoyed at was obviously he takes his helmet off every fucking chance he gets. So, as my exposure to Halo is just the mainline games, I haven't played what are the RTSE type ones?
Halo Wars.
I haven't played any of them, but actually all of the other games. But In the books, takes his helmet off all the time. And I didn't know that because I've never read them.
Do you know why I think that could be? Because if he takes his helmet off in the game, you need to animate his face.
He did in 4.
Oh, does he?
He takes his helmet off in 4.
Wait, you see his face?
No, you don't see it. You see it from the back.
Oh, well, then no one cares.
But from the research that I did, and this was only based on you saying that you did enjoy it briefly on the text message when you finished season 1. The reason they did it in the games was to make people give you that impression of it's not just a soldier, like real life soldiers and stuff that are out there, that they're not nameless, faceless goons and stuff. And putting you in Master Chief's shoes means it isn't a faceless, nameless person because it's you.
Yeah.
That's the feeling that they tried to evoke from it. Personally, I think it was just technical limitations. But,
yeah, I think it's easier to, like, if you play a game and there's, like, you've got your soldier grunts or whatever, and they've got a helmet and goggles and a balaclava that's up to here, it's because they just went, we can just put audio on them, and we can just have their mouth just do that underneath the ski mask, and we don't need to do any more than that. Next.
There's a reason I did the Space Architects comic a few years ago. It was because it was easy to recreate different like webcomics using the same characters because they're easy to draw because there's no face to them.
Yeah.
That was the reason. But it's the same principle there where it's... I don't know. I've got a feeling. I don't think anybody expected Halo to get as big as it did. I know that sounds really silly, but...
I think it's weird, and I think, if anything, it needed to exist in order for things to improve off of it. Because if people could get away, if studios could get away with just sort of making it, just go, it's a passable story, and we'll slap a logo on it that people will recognise. Oh, it's the Fortnite show, and it's just like, it's any old shit, but people will go, oh, cool, it's Fortnite, isn't it? So I'll watch it. But people are, for the most part, seem to be smarter than that and go, well, you kind of you missed the point with this show a little bit. You know, you haven't really got what's going on. You missed the point of why people like the games.
Yeah.
But they seem to have doubled down on the, it's not all just action in the second season. But there's a like the huge sort of story point is Reach.
Yeah.
So what happens in Reach? I can't remember. Is it Noble Squad? Is it in Reach? Like the Spartan team that's in there. So other than sort of like your main kind of players in Chief's story, I haven't seen anyone that I would recognise who, like, oh my god, it's that guy from Noble Team or whatever. Like, I'm hoping that I get that kind of like that cool crossover. That would be insane. Maybe. Or like it's a huge ODST drop or something like that. Like in the last episode I watched, which is sort of getting to like some, I think the last episode or two is just going to be an insane war basically, which is going to just kind of be like the culmination of a lot of things. But that's the first time I saw a scorpion in it. And I was like,
how many episodes?
Oh, well, this is like the one that I was in, so maybe like the last one or two before the season's over at season 2. And I was like, oh, that looks great. Why is that not been in it more? Why is he not been just jumping onto wraiths and like kicking people out? And someone has been stuck with the sticky bomb though, like like the plasma grenades, the elite ones. Like someone smacked one of those on someone's back and they just go poof, and just turned into mist. And I was like, that's cool, that's good, I like that. Someone's at least played the game in the props department.
That's what I think. That's the biggest problem with it, though, is the fact that the director was very open and said, never played the games, never read the books. The fuck you doing it for then?
But I think that's probably the last time that will happen, though, because if Last of Us has been so well received because the team directly involved with the game and its creation, the writing, they're involved in making that show as well, or to some degree. I don't know. They're not going to be on set directing every day, but they'll.
Neil Druckmann was.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's not just him.
No, but but like, it's. I think that's important is to have that. You've got the head of the game version of this property with the head of the TV version of this property working together to get where Druckmann
try
will
and
go.
Recreate it.
Yeah, and like people like Neil Druckmann and even I suppose Todd Howard to a degree, I think they want to make a movie. But they're in video games. So they've got to make a video game. And I think it's good. And it should be good for future games the different companies make because they'll learn things from how... It's very different shooting a video game to shooting a TV show. And That's like, I don't know how it worked out, but it's like me going, this is what we did in the video game, this is how we told this part of the story, and then you go, well, as a director for TV and movies,
yeah, that doesn't really work on
Yeah.
how we do things. We would do it like this, and you kind of
Exactly.
like try and find a good middle ground.
Yeah.
If that seems more like a, you know, it's a reciprocal kind of relationship if that's the case. And I'd like to think that those are the kinds of conversations that went on to make The Last of Us
yeah,
as good as it was. And I think that with Fallout, they basically said, we want to put as much like game to screen level of detail as we possibly can for the universe.
people glitching into
So, like,
chairs.
So like literally like every device, every thing on a wall, you should be able to like shot for shot match it to a thing, like an asset that's in the game somewhere. Everything seems to look almost perfect, right? And then they said, and now we'll just create another story around it, because it can just be the beauty of that universe is that you could just go, here's just a random person from a random vault, and here's the adventure that they get off to, because it doesn't need to cross into any of those games at all. It's already so big and so mental that you can just go, well, she's a clone, but she had an alien baby, and you go, sure, that sounds about right for Fallout.
Weirder things
There's a
have happened.
Bigfoot. Yeah, absolutely. There's a Bigfoot, and it's it smashed a tree bear, and then that set of fire that burnt for 1,000 years, and you go, yeah, that's Fallout does that all the time, really.
That's on the post-it note we've already got. So
Yeah. That's a rejected vault from Fallout 2.
I did see last week that Todd Howard had taken things off them because it was ideas that I can't remember who's producing and directing it with Todd Howard, but they come up with ideas, but it was ideas that Todd had for Fallout 5, so they can't use it. And I've got a feeling that he's just there, and in his head, he's like, "That's a really good idea." No, we're actually doing that for Fallout 5. I'm going to get all the creative
people at Amazon. I'm going to get them all together and just like, here's the universe, here's how it all works. Think of some crazy vaults. What could happen in a weird, freaky vault-tech vault? And people's like, what about if they just did medical experiments and just changed everyone's arms for legs? Anyway. Yeah. Make a note of that. No, I'm already doing that for Fallout 5, I'm afraid. That's going to be Vault 164.
Oh,
has anyone used that number? No. That's fine.
We had it 63. That's what I've got.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I cut my 4s and 3s look exactly the same. So sorry about that.
It's just the way, especially the way the article's worded as well, because it's basically insinuating the same thing, that he's a big stinking liar, but it's. Yeah, these are ideas for stuff that we're already doing on a game that we're not working on yet.
But to be fair, though, it could just be they just went, let's have a Fallout pitch meeting. And they just went, okay, well, that seems like an impossible thing to do in a fucking TV show.
Maybe.
Sure, but we could probably do it in a game a lot easier. Like, we just need to animate a few things and just get someone to do some VO, and that's easier than, like, setting up a location shoot that's going to have catering and electricity and location problems and whatever. Like... We could, that one's too difficult to just do in live action. We'll make that in the game. That's fine. I like to think it's more that than just go, oh, that one's really good. I'll just put that in the game, though. And even if that's the case, Callum, I don't care, because I'm still going to play that game, so I'm still going to get the benefit of it.
We're never going to know what they are, though, so it shouldn't really affect anyone, because...
Well, you just watch the director's commentary when he goes, oh, well, if you play Fallout 5, this vault was actually going to be in Fallout 5, but... We didn't really know what to do with it in like a bigger sense, so we just thought, fuck it, we'll just put it in the show instead.
Maybe. I don't think that'll come out. Because the main reason that he didn't want it in in the show was because he wanted people to be surprised with stuff for Fallout 5. So the odds are we'll never know what they was.
Either way, Callum, it's going to be good.
I'm hoping so. Like, I watched the trailer again. We've got I know we've spoken about reviews and stuff, but I don't know if you noticed, Dan, but the P64's been replaced with a new projector, and the first thing I watched on it while I was doing some testing for the review was the Fallout trailer.
Nice.
So I've watched about 3 times now, and I think I'm more excited about this than I am Deadpool, and I'm really excited for Deadpool.
Ooh, I don't know about that. Like, the Deadpool's kind of, it's going to work on its own merit. Like, it's already done 2 good jobs. I know that Ryan Reynolds is going to do a great job. Just having Hugh Jackman in it, even if he phones it in, which he obviously won't do. But even if he did, you'd be like, oh, well, that's still a cool thing that they've done and managed to get that together. That's going to be fun.
I guarantee, given, like, I mean, we could finish this now, watch the Deadpool trailer, and then go, actually, nah, I changed my mind. I think it's just because I've watched it so frequently.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. But there's more of an unknown factor for this. Do I think that there's only going to be one Rad Roach in it, and we saw her squish that? Do we know that there's only going to be one suit of power armor in it, and we've already seen who's going to get that?
No, we've seen more. We've seen more than one power armor.
No,
already.
but that's what I mean. Like, if they were saving all the good stuff for the trailer, I just don't think you could. I think the trailer would be 2 hours long if they just went, well, we just snipped out all the stuff that we think is really cool, or that people will recognize it or whatever. I like the fact that it's more than just a case of just sort of like, here's a character that you recognize. It's like, she starts as like a starry-eyed vault dweller with a nice spangly clean suit, and then at the end of the trailer she's like coming out of a bloodied, busted building, like through some gate or something.
There you are.
And like she's and she had like a vault suit's all busted up, and like she's got like leather armor that you look like she's like bolted on as you go, which is what you do in the game. You kind of you find mercenaries or whatever, and you take it off them, and you've got it on you instead. And I was just like, this seems to exude the exact Fallout experience that people have. Like, you meet some great companions, like your NPCs or whatever, some more memorable ones than not. Some wacky vendors, get some ridiculous weapons in there, some terrifying, scary monsters, and you just make everybody else a bandit so you can kill them.
Yeah.
But that's all you need to do. That's all you need to do. And I think that they're already very much on their way to doing it. And the fact that they're all going to be out together as well. What genius decided to put this together and then just said, and here's everything, off you go.
But typically, this is what's been in the past from the way the Amazon folks have talked about it, is it's something they haven't got faith in, or they don't think it's going to be as popular upon first viewing as some of the other things, like The Boys and that. But I don't think that I don't think it is a case of they don't have faith that it'll be good. I think it's more of a case of, do enough people want to watch it? Does that make sense?
And that to me would probably be the biggest downfall of it, is that people who know what Fallout is, people who have played Fallout, or are even sort of vaguely aware of it, or people who've just they've been sent a trailer to say, what do you think of this? They'll go, that looks awesome, that looks great. But if you've never heard of Fallout, why in the fuck would you seek that out? It would just pop up on Amazon Prime and you'd go, I bet you anything, like with that trailer again, like they put like the little intro thing from Walton Goggins in there, like presumably he's an actor or something, like in the past, maybe before the bombs go off.
Maybe.
Or he's just done an intro thing, like a Vault-Tec.
I think it's more of a Vault-Tec type thing.
But that's the thing. I got a feeling that he works for Vault-Tec as like one of their not a salesperson, like one of their spokesmen.
Yeah.
So he's just sort of like, come on down and check out the vaults. We'll find a place for you. He's been ghoulified, and then he turns into an absolute fucking nut job. The bucket of drugs line is just so good. Also, I do not remember, Callum, the first Mr. Handy that was in the teaser. I don't remember that talking.
It didn't talk.
In the second one,
Mr. Matthew
it's
Berry.
Matt Berry. Now, I know we've said this about the Borderlands movie, that why would you have a Borderlands movie and then you recast the voice of Claptrap? I mean, Jack Black is a good get, don't get me wrong, and I think he'd do a good job. But is he going to do the voice of Claptrap better than the guy who's been doing the voice of Claptrap for like 15 years? No, he's not.
But again,
and I would.
Oh no! All I was going to say was just on that is the voice of Claptrap is like Borderlands isn't as big of a property where enough people will be angry about it.
I don't know. They made fucking like 9 of those games, man. It's pretty popular.
No, they made 3, and then the others were spin-offs. Like.
Well, but they've still like Tiny Tina's Wonderland and all that kind of stuff. That's a new game. That's not just a rehash.
No. But it's not a first-person shooter either.
No, I didn't say it was. It's a different game, but people aren't going to have played the But I would say, well, we've got one guy who's doing the voice of all the Mr. Handy robots. Why would you recast that? Matt Berry is a good actor. I like Matt Berry in a lot of stuff. Why would you replace him? And then I heard this one talk, and I was like, perfect. Yeah, love that.
It works.
Perfect.
But it's also not. If they put, apologies because we don't know who the voice is for the game versions. If it was that instead of Matt Berry, I'd still be okay with it.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, thank God they got the original. And also, I will say this for Halo as well. They got I can't remember her name now. The woman who plays Cortana. It's her who voice acts, like not physical acts, but voice acts all of games. Cortana's lines. Yeah. So that's a nice carryover.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Matt Berry as a Mr. Handy, or like a weird medical Mr. Handy.
This makes me think he's going to be a companion, though. So why would you get Matt Berry in if it was just going to be a one-off?
Because there'll be 500 Mr. Handys that you can have.
No, this is what I'm saying. The Mr. Handy will be a companion that will join her.
Oh, I see. Right, yeah. So you don't just get a throwaway.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be
robot.
That particular one. Just a Mr. Handy.
Yeah, I'd say that'd be okay. He's got such a defined voice. I'd absolutely love that.
I did see a clip earlier pop up. Just speaking of Matt Berry, but it's where he's going to audition for Bond. I don't know what it's from, but he like pulls up to Thing and she's just like, "Can I help you?" He's like, "Yes, it's I'm here for Bond, James Bond," and then says the character's name, and then he gets called up to the Thing. And like the directors and producer, whatever, in the room, he just kicks the door and he gets a gun with blanks and just starts shooting everyone, and they're all carrying on the floor. He just like runs out and he's on the phone. He's like, "Yep, no, I think I scared them all. Didn't go well at all." But anyone else, it wouldn't have been that funny. It's just because it's Matt Berry. Well, yeah, I like him in pretty much. There's a show I haven't watched still. It's like an old Victorian show. I think it's got the word rabbit in it.
Oh,
not Jojo Rabbit.
No, I think I know the one you mean.
Year of the Rabbit.
It's something like that.
I haven't watched that.
No, that sounds familiar though. Yeah,
meant to be quite funny, but I haven't watched it. But
yeah.
Again, it's a name. You got Walter Goggins. You got Matt Berry. What other big names are in there?
Well, the dude who plays the Brotherhood of Steel Paladin. Initiate / scribe / knight. He's the dude who plays the sort of like the other trainee wizard in The Witcher. Like, when Yen goes to
yeah.
The thing is, she sort of starts banging that dude in secret.
Yes,
that's that guy. So he's going to be like the Brotherhood of Steel. Like, I still reckon that's two parallel stories that end up crossing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. The main woman, though, I don't know. I want to say I've seen her in something because she does look familiar, but I think she's unknown enough to just be. This could be her big break.
Like, she's a voice actress in Arcane, League of Legends cartoon.
Does she do the voice of Jinx?
I think it is. I can't remember off the top of my head who it is, but I know for a fact she's definitely in it. But I couldn't tell you. It could be Jinx.
I don't know.
Maybe. But I don't know what else she's done. She has produced something though.
Yeah.
I think
either way though, I think that this could be a big. I think this could be a big thing for her.
Yeah.
Like if this is really, really well received, because like are we expecting? Because it's sounding like a month basically from now. Are we expecting advanced reviews to be going out? Sort of start of April, maybe.
Maybe. When is it?
April the 11th.
April 11th, yeah.
So that is.
It's then again, typically, even the advanced reviews are only normally like 2 or 3 days before. Yeah, like the embargo is.
Yeah, it is lifted. Yeah. But it'll be it's 4 weeks from Thursday, so tomorrow.
Not long at all.
Until that's out. No, it's not. because I'm pretty sure it had been about that long since the first teaser came out.
Dan's already booked a week off.
I did nearly put the Friday off, just so I could watch it all in one big go. But odds are, if I time it well, I can watch most of them on Thursday night as soon as I get home from work, because we're not doing anything on a Thursday. I can watch as many of those as I can. It takes me half an hour-ish to get to work, so I can watch most of one at work, watch another one and a bit, like the remainder of that on the way at lunch, and then I could another half an hour until I get home, and then I can polish off the rest. So other than the hours that I'm literally working, I reckon I could power through the rest of them.
Why don't you send everyone like a team building day?
Because
without
my
you,
team
obviously.
Exclusively is the one that deals with all the phones.
Got voice machines?
No, they are the voice machines.
We'll say though, Dan, not going to touch too much on it because it's not that much to talk about. But I can never say his name, but Gideon from Mandalorian and from Breaking Bad.
Oh,
and Far Cry.
Giancarlo Esposito, is it?
Something like that.
Yeah.
I saw yesterday that he's very interested in playing Professor X, and he wants Denzel Washington to be Magneto.
Oh my god, that would be fucking amazing.
Which I think as actors, also, there was another thing today that guy from Mandalorian says that he doesn't like sitting down, so he wouldn't want to be in a wheelchair.
But, I mean, you can walk around as much as you want, but you just need to be in the wheelchair when we're filming, mate.
It's kind of his thing.
That's your thing, yeah.
But
and you'll need to be bald. Oh no, I'm not shaving.
Like,
no. We did that last time, and people hated that. It's like, just give him huge, curly, flowing locks, so that when he has to lose it all in 2 movies' time, then it's more hard hitting.
Yeah,
it's the same with Lex Luthor, man. Just have him fucking bald.
Just have him bald. But I mean,
he'd be so good as Professor Xavier.
I think they're both really good.
I feel that Denzel's probably too high profile to do Magneto.
Not these days, but he's definitely. I don't see him
still
as
doing Equalizers, man.
I don't see him as a Jewish Holocaust survivor, though.
No, but he just changed the time setting, so he's not a Holocaust survivor anymore. Maybe he's caught up in like race riots and stuff like that in the 50s and 60s.
I don't know. As long as Patrick Stewart's still alive, I want Patrick Stewart. Nobody else.
I think he's sort of like, leave me alone.
He's never going to do it again.
I did your cameo. Fuck off, right?
I got killed immediately. I think it's just kind of a given that it goes to McAvoy.
No.
I don't think they will. I think they will redo and start from scratch.
I think everything would need to be from scratch, with the exception of Kelsey Grammer
and Hugh Jackman if he's up for it.
He can be the only crossover. No, I think Hugh Jackman's he's too old for it now.
No, he's. I mean, he said he wasn't going to do any more, and now he's doing this one. But what's he now, like 49, 50, 52, something like that?
Isn't he? He's older than that, mate.
Let's have a look.
I'd say mid-50s, late
Hugh
50s maybe.
Jackman is 55.
Yeah.
55. It's a good-looking 55-year-old. Yeah, I mean, he ain't going to do no more. Maybe some flashback things here and there.
You can't maintain that kind of physique at that age. But it's not healthy.
Like we said before, this is the beauty of him actually doing the suit, because he doesn't have to be... The suit's going to be buff. Like Anthony Starr in...
I was going to say, yeah, like Homelander. He's not actually that big.
No,
you can tell when he moves his arm and stuff, and it's sort of like it crumples as an arm would not do.
He's reasonably in shape. But
the thing is that but it almost plays into the character as well, though, that it's just sort of like he's so narcissistic that he wants people to think that he's shredded, so he'll wear a buffed out suit because it makes him look bigger, even though 1, he isn't, and 2, he doesn't need to be.
Well, this has
he's
always
still
been the thing, though, hasn't it?
Homelander.
I mean, obviously in the show he is just chiseled and everything else. That's what it is. But this is what I've never understood, especially for Superman and stuff, like in a lot of other comic book characters. They don't have to work out. So how do they get the muscle? Why are they chiseled?
Well, for him, he does work out, though, doesn't he? He has to do, Superman. He just does like he's lifting trains and stuff.
No, but just
Also,
that wouldn't have been how they were wrote in. It wasn't a case of like even just working on the farm would have been workouts and stuff where he's juggling cows and tractors and.
But also, if you think that like he's got super everything, so if he's got like super protein intake, super muscle growth, so like his body's absorbing solar radiation as well as it is like activity.
Maybe,
so like
yeah,
he could still like he could put in minimal effort but get like supreme gains out of it.
I guess.
Also, if you look at him like in most things, like when he's been completely depleted, he looks like gaunt and skinny. But then as soon as you put him in the sun again, he fills back out again.
It's like Popeye and spinach.
Exactly. It's just a constant radioactive ball of spinach.
Who do you think could win?
Popeye
or Superman?
I think Superman could hide all the spinach in the world, and then Popeye would just be an old sailor who's blind in one eye.
I saw a thing, like a little comic strip the other day for like Batman versus Superman, and it's just like they're having an argument. It's just like, all right, 2 weeks time, we're going to meet back up again, and we're going to fight. And obviously the Batman 2 week prep time thing, and Superman's like, you're on. And then it's like 2 weeks later, and then they're like squaring off, and then Batman just keels over. It's just like, oh, buddy, like what's going on? Well, why can't I stand up? And then he's like, oh, that'll be the polio. And he's like, what? And he's like, yeah, 2 weeks ago, I just like flew into your house like really quick, injected you with polio. He's like, that's not fair. And he's like, what about the little green rock that you were going to use against me? Is that fair? That would have been a way better film.
Yeah.
Batman gets polio. Anyway, that's about all I've got, mate. I don't know if you've got anything else you want to chuck into the mix.
Nope, I don't think so. No. Very excited for Fallout, so I can't wait for us to be able to talk about that properly when we get that. Hopefully, not yet, obviously, for a few more weeks, but if we do see some preliminary reviews that drop before...
Spoiler free.
Well, I don't want you to talk about anything spoiler-based anyway. But if we get those like a couple of days before, like, so we usually record these on a Wednesday, Fallout's out on Thursday, so potentially we could have the initial kind of like reactions on that podcast to be like, people are just like, this is the one. This is what all of them have been building to. Or it could be, that trailer was so misleading, like it's...
Which is worse than Halo.
Halo's not bad.
I'm joking. Shall we do the podcast on that Friday?
No, because I'll probably be watching Fallout.
That's fine, as long as we know.
I mean, unless there's like 6 episodes and I can just get home and just power through them all.
No, I'm sure
I
it
might
did
just order a pizza or something.
I'm sure it said how many there was.
Well, if we say that there's 8, which is the 8 or 9 is kind of like your standard, isn't it? So say that they're like 40-odd minutes, so that's 36-ish minutes of like actual runtime. If I got home, I'd have to leave for work on time for a fucking change. But if I got home and just powered through all of them, ordered in, so I didn't have to stop to cook or anything, I reckon I could probably get to like 1 a.m. before I'd need to stop. So as long as there's not more than that, like 6 or 7 hours worth, maybe.
8.
Might be stretching it.
Looking at a whole day.
Kinda, yeah. I think it's a bit too late for me to... Well, I might actually be able to take the Friday off. I'm going to go into work tomorrow. Please remind me. I'll see if I can get that Friday off.
On it.
And I'll watch them all either on Thursday night or all over Friday. And then we'll do a podcast about it. Hot on the heels of watching all of them. Although you won't be able to, because you won't fucking do it.
I won't finish them all, Dan.
Well, then what's the fucking point?
Because we can watch at least the first 2 and then go, this is our thoughts so far. Because we need to do a spoiler cast on it anyway.
Well, I'd rather do that on the Friday. I'd rather watch all of them. Because I don't want to see a snip on fucking Instagram or something like that happens in the last 35 seconds of the last episode. In passing, I want to get them all out of the way before any of the potential spoiler stuff comes through.
I thought we were just doing one like each. Nah, that won't work because they're all out. I was going to say like we did with the other one where it's like this, like Loki, this week's.
If they were out
spoiler
each
cast,
week,
but
absolutely we would.
Yeah, we can't do it because they're all in one drop. Because at worst, mine will be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, maybe Sunday. So then the Monday, I'll have finished everything.
Yeah. Well, technically, we won't be doing anything on the Thursday. So if you just block out to make sure you're not doing any editing or anything on Thursday, you can just power through a bunch as well.
I'm saying I won't finish them all like over Thursday, Friday. No fucking chance. That's what I was saying. Like between Thursday to Sunday evening, I'll probably get it finished.
I will find the time. I will commit anything to my Fallout.
Well, I've sent you a text to remind you tomorrow. So
excellent. If
you don't do it, that's on you. Done my bit. Live on air. Anyway, let's fall out of here. I just wanted to keep it in theme, Dan. I wanted to keep it in theme. Anyway.
Terrible.
You've spoken for long enough, and I've listened for long enough, so we're going to go. But if you want to look at some more things, including podcasts, let's plays, reviews, other things, it's all going along the bottom of the screen at podcastversusplayer.com. It's there. Look at it.
Yep.
Get clicking. And, we'll see you in the next one. Bye.